Welcome to Ready, Set, Real Estate, where we will help empower and educate you on many different aspects of real estate, finance, and investing. Each week, we will expand your knowledge and uncover hidden truths. We will break down real-world scenarios and study actual how-to strategies. Anyone can buy real estate, but together we'll ensure you make smart real estate investment decisions. Now, here's your host, award-winning author, international speaker, and real estate educator, Lisa Gillett.
Happy Wednesday, checking in. Felt like it's been forever, and it was just this long holiday weekend because the kids were home, people were off work for a couple days, and it just felt like forever. But I was just here last week, and so were you. All right, as you can see with my background, you see what's happening here. We are planning for 2024. 2023 has given us some bumps. Some of you have shared and said that 2023 handed you your in the kitchen sink. Some of you are still having a banner year, depending what industry you're in, depending what strategies that you've laid out. You've been able to weather out this storm. You know, one of my spiritual coaches popped in my mind today as I was driving on my way to the office. And one thing that what he shared with me is, there's an aspect of yourself, right? That, what you put in and what you put out and the work that you do in your inner world, that when the outer world, right, when there's external forces that you don't control, starts to work and do its thing, that it can bless you if you've done your part, if you've done your work. And so I was thinking, I am aligning with that come next year, because I'm just looking at the age. I've got a birthday coming up, and I'm like moving into a new personal year. And so I was thinking, he was spot on. He was spot on. So get you a spiritual coach. If you are anyone that is a high producer, and as we talk about planning for 2024, I think this will speak to those of you who are working on professional development, personal development. This topic will resonate with you. So be sure to drop a comment, say hi, say hello, let me know you're here. Press 1, let me know that you're here. I had this whole idea for a PowerPoint, and I was going to just have some slides, and it was just going to be real pretty. But guess what? Your girl forgot her glasses, and I can't really see without them, and I don't have my contacts in. So you should see my monitors, like my fonts and everything is huge and big. So bear with me. I've had to make some adjustments, and that's how we roll. That's how we roll. So let me find in here my thing here. Boom. Right here. So press 1, lets me know you're here. Press 2, lets me know you shared it. And I definitely want to do sound check, because sometimes, when I mess with my stuff, it just gets all funky. It just gets all funky. So best way to do that is, let's go and see how we're doing over here. Okay, perfect. We're good. We're good. Shout out to those of you who are tuning in and streaming, connecting from the Nextdoor app. If only I can automate Nextdoor in my streams, like I'd be the happiest, right? Then it's gonna be something else. Remember when I was saying that about Instagram, and I was like, if only I could do this. And then I said, if only I could do it on LinkedIn. And then they gave me LinkedIn. And if only I could do it on Twitter, they gave me Twitter. And I'm the happiest. Isn't that funny how we continue to desire more and more, and I'll be happier and happier and happier? Listen, that's why you need to work on yourself. And we'll be talking about that today. For those of you who are new to the show, welcome, welcome, welcome. My name is Lisa Gillett, also known as Super Agents. Yeah, that's been my trade name. And if you've been following the news about what's happening with the National Association of Realtors, you probably have been clued in and learned why I had to make my own trademark name as it relates to how things are in the industry. Similar to some of you finding out what's going on with P. Diddy, right? Puffy, P. Diddy, Sean Combs. It's now coming to light. We are in the age of truth, right? We are in the Aquarian age. So that age of truth. And it's all coming out. It's all coming out. And I want to remind you, since we're talking about this plan for 2024, and we're talking about your age of truth, and you're finding out all these things coming out to the light, no matter what industry. We've seen AI be used in the legal industry. I can talk about this. I can talk about this because I'm in law school. I'm part of the club now, right? I'll be part of the club soon. Almost there, almost there. And so with the legal industry, we talked about how one of the attorneys used AI, and and AI just totally just made up case law, made up cases that didn't exist to support his argument and what he wrote in his brief to the judge. And the judge was like, yeah, no, those cases don't exist. So we're finding out the truth. This is where we are. Tech industry, we've learned a lot more about some of these companies, and it's just interesting. This year unfolded a lot of those startup companies and the venture capitalists, right? The VC stuff that was happening, and crypto here, Bitcoin there, and the CEOs, founders, owners. I mean, one of the owners, I think she's got now like a document. I think they've got it doing a Netflix thing on her already. And she's serving some time, or will be serving time, I imagine, because she made up the data and sold it to the bank. I forget which bank. I think I talked about it earlier this year, but just talking about these different things that we've seen come to light. So tech's been hit. The financial sector has been hit. In terms of banking, we saw how the Federal Reserve responded to the bank failing. Those banks, multiple banks failed. We've seen banks take over other banks. Some of you have been affected by that. And notice that you got that letter if you were with, let's say, Union Bank, and you got that little invitation that says, welcome to US Bank family, right? What else is happening? So in real estate, all the stuff we see happening in real estate in terms of the market, high interest rates, short of inventory. We see Warren Buffett just liquidating some of his I think it was some of his stocks in one particular asset class, but then he invested a lot of money in one of the construction companies, development companies, excuse me. And so kind of gives you a foresight into the future in terms of, bottom line, we need housing. I'm in California, so I'm a California real estate broker. I'm an active producer out here doing my thing. And we need housing. California is leading the nation in homelessness, unhoused people. We talked about earlier this year, and I've said it in years prior, that redefining what homelessness looks like. It's no longer what we had perceived years growing up, or I think years past and growing up, that this journey of once having and then losing your job, losing your job, and having medical challenges or mental health challenges, and seeing how that snowballs into effect to cause someone to lose housing or not being able to maintain their housing. We have seen recently that California has also passed Care Court, where courts now will essentially assign conservatorship over someone who does not get the help that they need. Very interesting time that we're in. What else is happening? As we talk about episode 232, I just got my Spotify wrap up. If those of you who are tuning on Spotify, doing awesome things on Spotify. I thought earlier this morning, as well, as I was getting my thoughts together and what I wanted to talk about, I just wanted to go with something that would be really lax, right? So relaxed for us. And we can discuss something that applies to each and every one of you as it relates to planning for 2024. We are officially going to be, if you're not already, in countdown mode to the end of the fiscal year. And, tax planning. I feel amazing because, truth be told, your girl's got a tax bill that I was aiming to meet this deadline, y'all. I was aiming to meet this deadline. And of course, I run a business, run a corporation, got 1099s and W-2s and all the nuances of just good books. And since I was able to weather out the storm that I experienced and exhibited in my personal life, it's so funny, right? It's so funny, and not like a ha ha funny, but that stuff shows up in your work life. And those of you know, I went through a challenging time as I was dealing with just things personally. Don't want to revisit here. The good news is that I was able to weather that out, recover, and rebuild. I've shared with you offline, some of you offline, that I am still in that rebuild mode. I'm still finding myself falling in more, or I'd say growing, right? Rising more in love with my talents, my gifts, the desires of things that I want to do. I'm loving that I love real estate that much more. I'm enjoying learning more about law and the role that plays in our lives and everyone's lives. For fun, I've been reading this book called Crazy Lawsuit Stories. It's 101 lawsuits that people brought to court and that had their day in court. There was the one about the Pepsi. I think it became a Netflix series. Pepsi, Hey Pepsi, where's my jet? Um, there are just so many stories. Some of you know about the McDonald's one, where the lady spilled coffee on herself, had third-degree burn, and just that the way that panned out. Just some very interesting stories. Someone sued Pop Tarts, Kellogg's, because they said you didn't say it was artificial flavors. I thought there was real strawberries in this thing that was healthy for me, and it's not. I was reading one last night about someone who enjoyed popcorn so much that he inhaled the popcorn. He ate popcorn every day, every night, sometimes twice a day. So much so he got popcorn lungs, and he sued 3 companies that had to do with those popcorn brand, or that were part of manufacturing, producing, or selling that popcorn that he consumed. And he won $7.2 million. It's like, whoa. So I was sharing that lesson with my son last night. By the way, shout out to Poppy. Lathan is doing amazing as he is working on performing in his school play. He likes to say he's in orchestra and advanced band, doing his thing, figuring out which instrument he likes. He says he likes the winds. I'm learning as well, the winds. I don't know the certain groups, but I'm very impressed with him. Very impressed with him. So I remember to shout him out because he said to me yesterday, he said, Mom, what time are you streaming tomorrow? And I said, about 11. He's like, okay, I'm going to come on. And I'm like, you're going to come on? And he's like, yeah, if I come on, you're going to shout me out. So as you catch this on replay, son, Mom is shouting you out. I also want to share with you all who contributed and donated to Lathan's fundraiser. He did win that PS5. He won the PS5, and we are so ecstatic and happy and having a ball with just the kids coming into themselves. And that was a moment as I continue to watch him, like, he's going to be 13 next year. I'll have a 13-year-old boy. Ah! Uh, and it's been an exciting journey. I share all this to say we may not be able to control our external circumstances, but one thing we can do is control our inner world, right? Outside of having some chemical imbalances or some other, personal situations you might be dealing with, you still can control your inner world. I've jumped back into my audiobooks, really enjoying one by Robert Collier. Um, uh, I think it's The World is Yours. Really enjoying that on my workouts, getting back to my workout, focusing on my health. So let's talk about this. Planning for 2024, I'm going to use the comments here. And one of the things that I want to focus on, and I just shared that, your health, your health. So focusing and planning for your health. Let's go here. Focus, and you will have focus on health. Excuse me, right? So I like to say here, start here, focus on your health. That includes whether it's managing weight loss, whether it's managing your caloric intake, how many calories you're consuming, watching sugars. That's been a key thing for me, is watching sugar intake. And it's interesting that I'm a vegetarian, and I go back and forth between being pescatarian and vegetarian, only because sometimes I'll have a craving. And I know sometimes people say if you're having that craving, it's because your body lacks that, it's lacking something. So that's why it's craving that. And for me, I went through a whole thing where I'm like, yeah, I'll eat this. And then now I'm weaning myself off, or not even waning, like I'll cold turkey it and be like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore. And interestingly, that if as a vegetarian, and you eat a certain way, and you don't consume a lot of the artificial sugars, fried foods, and junk, I find myself that my taste buds are really, when you eat something that's fried, or eats as something that is really sugary or salty, you go, whoa, like it's just like a whole event happening in my mouth, that it's like, whoa, this is super salty or super sweet, when it's really not. For most people, it's because their taste buds have acclimated, they're used to that. So I like that happens for me, that I can recognize when something is uber sweet or uber salty, and it's because that's not normal in my diet. So I'd like to encourage you to focus on whether you're going to allow your stomach to process the meats. If you eat meat, allow your body to break down the meat. Don't need to consume meat every single day. Of course, I'm not giving you dietary advice. I'm not going to give you financial advice either. Of course, consult with a professional regarding your specific situation. That's my whole disclaimer right now. Not giving you legal advice either. And and when it comes to allowing your body to adjust, give it that time. Rest, very important. I find and have found that when I'm listening to my body and I allow myself to sleep, right? Your body is working. Your body is working on repairing itself. Let it do the work. Let it do the work. Okay. So that's two, right? So that's number one, focusing on your health for planning in 2024, whether it's starting your workout, getting back on your workout. For me, I'll be I've got to add some reps with my arms. So I know I'm losing the weight, but I also want to tone my arms. So that's going to be important in terms of adding that to my year. And also, uh, my intake in terms of water, but good water, right? So not all water is alive. A lot of this water is dead. You can talk to me offline if you want to know more about that. But just finding good water that is charged and is good for you. There's ways to charge your water, because once it gets processed and stuff and it's bottled, worse, if it's bottled, that bottled water stuff is not good for you. Try to consume it out of a glass, or storing it in glass, much better for you. And those are my goals in terms of health. So think about, for you, as you plan for this next year, as the highs and lows in terms of economically, socioeconomically, what's happening at your work, and all the ebb and flow is controlling here. The inner world is more important than everything else, because you'll see that everything just follows. It was interesting that I was, as I was on my workout, do my morning workout, and in fact, I'm noticing I have so much energy that I can squeeze in a second workout throughout the day. But I know that's me just avoiding the work that I need to do, which is my schoolwork. But I'll stick to it. Interesting, on my morning workout, I ran into a fellow, jogger, who was talking about running into some personal challenges. And if it weren't for him having set himself up for a path of uh, a healthy mindset, ooh, hashtag that, mindset, healthy mindset. And I said I don't have my I don't have My contacts are glasses, so make sure it's spelled correctly. Yeah. Healthy mindset. Ran into him and he was sharing, completely stranger. And he says, I know I don't know you, but was going through this. And if it weren't for the things that I started to put in play, it would have been a lot more difficult for me to handle that. That's so true. I think about that too as I watch 2023 just eat up most of my efforts from 2022. And if it weren't, like he shared, if it weren't for that healthy mindset, it'd be a mess. Be all over the place. I'd be distraught. I'd get off the track, and things will spiral. But because I'm of a healthy mindset, I'm able to still maintain that focus and keep my eye on the prize. So I'm sharing that with you. Keep your eye on the prize. Number two, as we're talking about planning for 2024, so health being one, because without your health, none of this matters. None of this matters. Let's talk about in our professional work, right? So professional, uh, so let's talk about finances. Let's talk about finances. So focusing on finances for planning of 2024, do the budget sheet. Do your budget sheet. Look at your expenses. What is going out and what is coming in? And I do green light, stop, green light, red light. If I don't have enough, right, to make that happen, then I'm not going to do it. Fortunately, if you set yourself up, then you can leverage some options that are available to you when you are working on expense optimization. Like right now, cutting out things that you don't need. How many of you, when once cable went away and you all decided to subscribe to the apps, you now are subscribed to multiple streaming apps, and now your bill is probably the equivalent of what you were paying with cable for 500 channels, if not more. Pay attention to those subscription services. I'm going to talk about data management separately because I think this is a key thing too as you're planning for 2024. I noticed one of my sis, Amira, mentioned about having almost 200,000 pictures and she needs more storage. Kind of the issue I've been having, which is why I had a custom built computer here for the office, because I just need that much storage. If you run content, right, or create content, you're a content creator, this in itself is a lot of data, right? I'm already at 23 minutes in, a lot of data being used here, and storing that, because you'll lose it once you post it on social media. Meta, Facebook won't let you get that data back once it goes. So you being able to store that data is important. So I'll talk separately about data storage, but finances as it relates to expense optimization and planning for 2024 is focusing on the things that you need and the things you don't. For us, right, as a producer, as a business owner, as a marketer, right, marketing is key. In fact, when the show ends, I'm going to tighten up the marketing for the next quarter, the pieces that need to be sent out, schedule those and just set it and forget it, right? Attach my business credit card to it and have that bad boy go automatically. You can automate those things. So that's important. Keep the things that is the lifeline of your work or your business, the things that works. Okay. If you're working on, if you use your computer, make sure you're paying attention. Do you have the latest equipment to do your work? As it relates to finances, right? You should be budgeting for upgrading your equipment throughout the year. As I'm thinking about that right now, I'm going to hand over one of my Chromebook likely to Lathan. Lathan has an account on my Chromebook. I'm lightly going to hand that over to him. And then I've got I've got a Mac and I've got another PC laptop that I'm going to wipe out and have to build up, right? Build that out for what I need. So as it relates to finances, expense optimization, leverage, and savings. Focus on automating your savings as well. That means paying yourself into an annuity account, an investment account, Because if you're not planning for retirement, you're likely planning to work for a very long time. If you're not planning for retirement, you're planning to work for a very long time. All right, number 3, as we talk about planning for 2024, we're talking about, I want to get into data management. A little odd to have that as a lit as an itemized item here, but I feel like we need to talk about it in terms of data management because there are tons of platforms that allow you to manage your data, and data is important. So if you are posting online content, you're streaming, you're using data to store your pictures, your files, your documents, make sure you tighten up on your data plans. Is it enough? Do you have enough? Which ones you should be comparing? You can compare. I use Dropbox and I have Google Drive, and I use those two separately for two separate things. And then I have a hard drive to back up my computers and my laptops and my phone. I had to upgrade. I was forced to upgrade my phone because I maxed the data on the phone, even with the external little mini SD card. And my phone just was just slow. And it was interesting. Once I wiped it out and turned it back in, I got a new phone. I really like this newer phone that I'm using. I went ahead and I'm doing the fold. Really fun because now I don't have to walk around with 3 devices, which was a business phone, a tablet, and my personal cell phone. I was able to consolidate all that again into expense optimization. I start seeing where things are going. I'm like, oh, we got to tighten up here. So that means tightening up on the phone bill, tightening up on the devices. What do I need? What I don't need? And let's look at being more efficient, and that's the key thing with data management. So I I also have data management or data storage for the business files. I'm required, right? Business and professions code requires us to have a storage that is secure, that is accessible, that allows us to organize our files for accessibility, especially if you're ever audited, you're ever subpoenaed for records. You as a professional have to be able to recover and access that data at a snap of a finger or at a click of a button. Because I could tell you from personal experience, professional experience, I have been subpoenaed. My records have been subpoenaed, and my records. I wouldn't say it was an audit, but the Department of Real Estate did ask me for my files on a particular transaction, and I think what they were looking for was a marketing issue or complaint that a consumer filed. I represented the buyer, so I didn't have any marketing material. So this was more so maybe a consumer complaint filed against the seller's agent on how they marketed that particular property. So in the event something like that happens, you just don't want to get caught up not having access to an organized data storage. So data management, very, very important. Number 4, I want to talk about virtual assistants or hiring help. Let's just talk about hiring help. Hiring help. It's okay to ask for help. You know who you are. You know who you are. I want to say thank you to a lot of you who've referred and recommended people to reach out. This year was just really one of those years as I was dealing with insurance and cars and this and that and the third. So just a little couple of personal stuff that definitely had me not really focus on bringing additional help. But as I go into my personal year, because I'm a December baby, and then into the new fiscal year, I will be bringing on help. And one of the things is to organize my files and automate things that can be automated. I love what I do. And I hear my husband say, you've got to let someone else do it. You've got to let someone else do it. You've got to trust someone else can do it. And I see that. I see that as I've been working alongside attorneys that have their help, and you see what works, and then you see sometimes the struggle of not allowing someone else to step in to let you help them. And I am learning that I don't want to be that. I don't want to be the blocker of my own blessing. So hiring help, I have been exploring whether I'm going to do virtual assistant. I think that would be good. And then the key thing with what I've been researching on virtual assistants or hiring help is being clear on what tasks you are delegating to them. Not that you're going to give them everything, because now you need someone to learn everything and you're just going to create a chaotic mini you if they have to figure out everything you've been doing. So it's, what do you need help with? So get clear on that. What do I need help with? All right, hiring help. What else for 2024? I think in terms of, I should have added this in finances, but it's okay because I talk about savings. But your skill set, up level. So upgrade skills. As the fifth one here, as we're talking about uh, 2024, is upgrade your skills. Udemy, One Place, Gumroad, where we have our course content and books and different things. Gumroad has been doing well for that. There's tons of online courses that you can take, and learn a skill increases your skill. If you are a marketer, learning what works in terms of graphics and images, contrasting colors, text, and fonts. I'm careful when I've noticed this, and I've been told this by having a spiritual coach who also worked with what worked for my marketing, my industry. One thing he pointed out to me was cursive, right? Even though we love using script and cursive in our marketing because it's so pretty, but the truth is that people have stopped learning how to read cursive. In fact, the LAUSD, the Los Angeles Unified School District, just approved bringing cursive back to the third grade graders, or I would say the incoming third graders. They've now are going to resume or continue teaching them how to uh, sign and as cursive writing, write in hand and write in cursive. Very important. So paying attention to things like that. I've got some great books on marketing. I've got some great books that I've been reading on writing, speaking, negotiating. If you've got something to learn, there's tons of audiobooks out there. Whether you're a tactile person, you want to physically hold the book, there's great things you can learn. A lot of blogs, articles, just tons of information. We are in an age right now that there is no lack of information. There is so much information that you've got to narrow down, what do you want to learn? What do you want to be better at? As a professional, I'm required to do continuing education, which, yes, I still haven't completed my CEs. Leslie, I know. She was like, girl, I told you that 3 months ago. I know. I'm working on it. And I was studying for the NPRE, okay? Cut me some slack. And yeah, I'm studying for the NPRE. I took that exam. My results should come next week. Let's see if I passed it. It's my second retake. We'll see. It's just I'm chipping away at my requirements of what I need to do to be a better human being for me and the world. So tons of ways to upgrade your skills. Okay, so you can use some of those online platforms. You can definitely work with bringing on a Jegna, right? I.e., mentor, someone that you can learn from and develop your skill set. What is it that you want to learn? I think is the most key thing. And sometimes you may say, I don't know what I should be learning. Well, what do you do? Right? What do you do? Are you a marketer? Are you in sales? Are you in IT? Depending whatever your skill set. Now in real estate, this being a real estate show, most of our folks are real estate investors, professionals, and or consumers, meaning you're a buyer, so or seller. So learning your skill sets, or based on that our industry, your skill sets has to do with a lot of opportunities with networking. You've been watching Ready Set Real Estate, so there's tons of things that you've learned here. In fact, I learned that I posted 33 or created 33 real estate videos in 2023, so tons of content there. Shout out to Mindy Reagan of Snap NHD. She's in the building. Thanks, Mindy. Minnie can share with you a lot about learning. She attends many networking events, and she herself is an educator on natural hazard disclosures and the requirements as it relates for the state of California. So tons of ways for you to gain or increase that skill set for 2024 is just who's your network, right? Who are you associated with? What are you listening to? What is your mental diet? What are you pouring into yourself? All right. And I'm going to wrap it up here with the sixth one being, sixth one being family. Planning for family. I felt really proud of myself this year in terms of spending a lot more time than I have in my past years with family. Spending a lot more time. It's been a challenge because I love working. I love doing that. And it's a challenge to pull away from it or shut it down for family time. And my son has been a blessing. My husband's been a blessing. Mother, grandmother, aunts, cousins, just everyone has been a tremendous blessing to remind me, right, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Why are you doing what you're doing if it doesn't improve the quality of life or experiences for your family? And I must say and share that, plan that time. This past year, we didn't do, my immediate family didn't do much of family trips, but on a bigger scope, my family did as a group. Although we didn't do trips, we celebrated in the most, big way for family birthdays. And everyone came out and they made the time. And that is a great reminder as to why you do what you're doing. Now, family is what you define it as, okay? Because I have people that are not blood related that I consider family. They're good people in my life. They've been great people. They've been great supporters. And you may experience the same, all right? Some of you may have had to draw the line with family. A lot to learn there with drawing the line. So keeping those healthy boundaries and remembering what's important as you continue on your life's journey. I encourage you to stay present, be in love with life, in like with the world, in love with your life, in like with the world, and be kind to yourself. All right, be kind to yourself. With that, I say I will wrap this up. We'll see you next week on another information-packed episode on Ready, Set, Real Estate. And thank you for joining us on this special episode of Planning for 2024. We'll see you again next time. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Ready, Set, Real Estate podcast with Lisa Gillett, the LA Super Agent. Please like, subscribe, and share LA Super Agent